Welcome back to Listings and Lullabies, a girl dad's journey with your host, my brother Varun Varma. My name is Vikas Sandhi as the producer and co-host, and welcome y'all to Season 2, Episode 2. Thank you for all the support. I know we took a big break there for a little bit, but we got a lot of feedback that, we are happy y'all are back.
Yeah.
And it's been great to hear some of the stories.
Surprising and, endearing for sure, and motivating as well. You never know with all this stuff, who's watching, who's listening, who's following, who's thinking about you.
Who's
trolling.
trolling.
Doing this for your mom and dad who's...
Who the haters are that are just trying to copy us or something.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
But it's nice to get, little text comments, notes from people that you didn't expect, and just offering their advice or their guidance or insight on their viewpoints related to something we did speak on. So
yeah, exactly.
It's good to get that, and it's good to also realize that, okay, we're talking about things that people are going through. We're not talking that we're sitting on an island and nobody else is going through that.
Yeah, like tone deaf or anything.
Because while, yes, podcast does focus on being a parent, being in real estate, but also a business owner. But, corporate people go through the stuff we go through.
Yep.
Non-parents go through the stuff that we go through. So this isn't limited to just girl dads, just parents, just fathers, just business owners.
You're right.
Or whatnot. So good to get feedback from people in our lives or friends, family, colleagues, whatnot, that reach out and say, oh, yeah, here's this. Or actually, I did this, and this kind of helped me that way, and whatnot. So,
You in anything you do in life, you try to set, like, okay, who's the audience for this, right? Like, who am I trying to attract? Who am I not? And you've obviously hit a lot of the people we are.
Yeah.
And then when you get feedback from people that, like, kind of aren't in that realm, and you're like, oh, you actually wanted to listen to that? It's cool because you're like, we're expanding beyond what we thought it might be. So that is really cool to see. So kudos and thank you for all those that have been supporting.
Can't say it enough. Sure.
And giving us feedback and acknowledging what we're doing. To those that aren't, no, I'm joking. No, we love you too. Hopefully you will start to listen to it or watch it or whatnot. Yeah. So for everyone that does not recall, or just a real quick recap on episode 1 of season 2. Let me take it a step back. Season 2, we started because now Varun has 2 kids now, and he had to take a little bit of a pause to get
and
things
season 3
right.
doesn't mean I'll have 3 kids.
Yeah. Don't start expecting that kind of shit. Right.
Let's clear that up right now.
So we started fresh with now 2 kids. We talked about not rebranding right now because we got this traction and it's kind of authentic in what we set out to do.
Yeah.
And life changes, right? So we just wanted to keep it to the core. Yeah. We talked about, how Varun was vulnerable in some things, very open and honest and candid about why there were some pauses that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And then we also touched upon, I think you were going through therapy and business coaching as well. And then also shedding some light on the real estate market, some updates based on some changes that happened to policies last year, buyers agreements, sellers agreements and stuff like that, and being more transparent around that.
Yeah.
So I guess let's kind of pick up where we left off. I mean, these are kind of like updates about how it is for any parent managing children.
Yeah.
And now that you have 2 children, that's a huge change. And we have been able to spend some time together, and we've been seeing how the mayhem, the chaos kind of goes and how you guys manage that. So, it's January right now. Like, tell us what's been going on. Give us some updates on the family.
Yeah. Obviously, we're done with the holidays. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes,
the last
Happy New
episode
Year.
we shot was right before the New Year, so hope everyone's doing well. Staying warm, I hope, because, wow.
It's 15 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's 15 degrees, and this weekend we're expecting 30s, so which will feel like summertime. Hope everyone's staying warm and safe and doing what they need to stay safe.
Survive.
But, that's what we've been kind of doing, surviving.
It is survival mode, right? In the beginning,
it is survival mode. Because anyone with kids that went through the holidays, schools were closed, daycares were closed.
Yeah.
So, those 2 weeks you're just with the kids. Work kind of stops.
No daycare.
You go into fun engagement mode and all that stuff. You take a little break to unwind, debrief, de-stress from the year and enjoy the holidays with family. And then we got a snowstorm.
Yep.
You know, got the snowstorm. We were ready to send Ziana back to daycare.
You're like, oh.
You know, kick her out, but kind of not kick her out, you know, but, you know, you got to go. Because I now realize all the social media posts of all the kids, like, or all the parents just dreading summertime and then excited, seeing all that content, those reels, those memes. And now I feel it. Obviously, I feel it in a much smaller scale because we were struggling just for two weeks.
Right? Yeah.
2 weeks. And, you know, that's nothing compared to a full 3 months of summer, year over year, and all that stuff.
Your daycare does operate in the summertime, right? So you won't feel that just
correct.
yet
We won't feel the
until
summer
school time actually.
Yes,
starts,
yes,
right?
we won't feel that in the summer. So right now she'll be going into a Montessori next year, which we're excited about. But then that Montessori does close, but then we'll shift her back into daycare. During the summertime. So we'll see how that shift maybe complicates or how she adapts and adjusts to that.
Yeah.
Two different environments and things.
Right,
But,
right.
we'll talk about that later down the road, I guess, when we go through that. But yeah, just trying to get back into the grind of things.
Yeah.
You know, we had Sahil November 25th, so that was right around Thanksgiving. So things were kind of shifting downwards anyways in terms of holidays, business starting to slow up.
You could focus more.
Right, but also wanting to hit the ground running. So a lot of my October, November, December was a lot of just cramming things into so that I wouldn't feel that pause. And then also the holidays is an additional pause. And then I'm not getting back into the groove of things until like March. So I wanted to set things up. So I was doing a lot of back-end system organization with CRM, database, website, kind of rebrand, relaunch, all that good stuff. So it was just cramming all that stuff kind of in, which was stressful.
I'm sure.
But that goes into time planning and time blocking, right? Like we knew Sahil was coming. It wasn't just, hey,
9 months of
Amazon's at your door. So it just goes into time planning, time blocking, which I know a lot of people struggle with. I do a lot. And
well, you
that's one of
that you got diagnosed with
ADHD.
Right?
So that's
like,
there's so many things going on, right? In the real estate world, it's funny, but one of my therapists said is the reason real estate agents thrive or business owners thrive is because they have some form or some level of ADHD. Just because you have to kind of be juggling so many things.
Oh yeah, you're wearing multiple hats.
And I know that other people in my life that I know kind of how they're structured. Not to say they couldn't adapt in that, but there's certain things that just because your frontal lobe isn't registering like it should normally, it doesn't necessarily see certain objects that you're encountering as a red flag, I guess. It just kind of normalizes it in the sense of, oh yeah, chaos is what I thrive in, when you shouldn't necessarily be in chaos. But we thrive in chaos. If you have ADHD, you probably thrive in madness and chaos. You definitely, certainly probably want to be a little bit more manageable and a little bit more tame, but things just get chaotic in my world, in my feeling, and how I'm kind of dealing with it at least. So, and that could be very different for other people with ADHD and whatnot. So love to kind of get feedback.
Comment on some of our stuff. Tell us. Don't be shy. Like, we're here to try to be relevant and resonate with people.
Right. Yeah. Because this is the ADHD thing is just a new path for me, in the sense of having it diagnosed,
now
taking medication.
Not to interrupt you, but like, obviously you've been ADHD before you were diagnosed.
Right.
With
Correct.
It. So like, what was it that changed? Was it just like now awareness that that's what it is, and before you just were like, man, I just can't focus on this, or what? Like, what was it that the diagnosis all of a sudden shifted?
Yeah, my therapist encouraged me to get testing for it, just because of things that had happened, a lot of impulsivity that I've been dealing with, a lot of just whether it was laziness or depression or anxiety, kind of all tied into how things correlated and tied into some form of ADHD. So he encouraged me to go get it tested, see what they say, get a diagnosis. So you go and see behavioral therapists, essentially, ask some questions. There's different forms of testing that are, some are modern day, some are back in the day, and each kind of firm or company, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
Tests you in certain different ways. So went through that process, and I wasn't on like too far left or too far right. I was just kind of a little bit
shifted
over the edge, and I just wanted to, I guess, maybe get some answers. Obviously, ADHD doesn't solve certain decisions you make. Obviously, you have to be a man or have common sense or be an adult. No, don't have to be a man. Just be an adult to make, common sense decisions that affect you, affect your wife, affect your family, affect your business, affect your circle, affect everything, right?
Okay.
So, but, just more so not looking for, that's the reason I am this way. Just looking at maybe some guidance to understand, because what is in the back of my mind is, how are the kids going to develop in terms of real world sense, educational, their brain development, certain genes and traits and hereditary things that will pass on from me to them, also from Bhavisha to them, and kind of, not to say flaws, but just seeing how we can make our kids better, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's heavily weighted on my mind. So that was a lot to do with the reasons I wanted to get that, and
get it done.
and yeah, you have 2 kids now, and you need to be smart. You need to go to your yearly checkups. You need to get certain things, your diet in check, your cholesterol, your triglycerides. You need to get all that stuff. And I am not a person that goes to doctors. I am not a person that cares about that stuff. I mean, shit. Before I was married, I didn't have health insurance. I was just like, whatever. What do I
a lot
need
of
it
Americans
for?
don't, right?
Yeah, right. So that whole system is.
Yeah,
we're not going to get into that.
We're not into that.
But it's like at some point you've got to be an adult in those phases of life, right? You've got 2 kids, you've got a family to take care of, you've got a business to support your family and whatnot, and you just you've got to be smart. And I was not being smart.
Okay.
I was not taking care of my body in terms of what am I putting into my body? What am I tracking? What am I doing? Am I getting checkups? Am I drinking every day? Am I smoking?
Yeah.
It's
legal here in Ohio, right?
Yeah, right. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my come to Jesus moment. Essentially, of like, all right, I gotta get my shit together. Yep. So that's kind of where all that stemmed from, and how we got to being diagnosed with ADHD and all that.
Now let me ask you, now that you have been diagnosed and you're equipped with this information, and obviously it's going to be a slow transition, but what adjustments or changes have you started to make? What kind of tools are you equipped with to help you better be able to lead your life, I guess?
The realization of it is definitely a big part of it.
Okay.
I haven't consistently been taking Adderall because life is crazy right now, right?
Okay.
We're not sleeping that much. Ziana's schedule's been off. We're navigating back to work, feeding, sleeping, all that stuff.
Right.
Certain things on the ADHD side of things haven't been implemented. However, all of that stuff that led me to the diagnosis, led me to taking care of myself, has all helped me start to make better decisions, think through things a little bit, kind of try to be less impulsive. Now, there's certain parts where I still am, in terms of, Amazon,
baby steps,
Amazon shopping, gambling, sports gambling a little bit, maybe don't need to place that extra bet, don't need to chase the losses, things like that. But there's little, like you said, baby steps, realizing and understanding, and having that knowledge, to make the correct decisions. Okay, financial planning, budgeting. What does that take? How are we going to, plan and budget and grow, invest, 529s, child investments, all that stuff is now becoming focus versus spending stupidly on this, spending stupidly on that. Okay, does this make sense? We were talking about just our cost of groceries.
Well,
It's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah. What all that entails.
Yep.
That could be spent better, essentially. So
Right.
overall, that diagnosis essentially has kickstarted me to start thinking properly and realizing certain things.
Yeah.
Overall.
And I think, while you might feel like you're isolated and like this is something that you've got to go through and stuff, obviously I'm older than you. I would definitely say, and I think a lot of people would also agree, that this is something that you do go through your 30s and early 40s,
Sure.
right? Like peeling off some of those layers of what you've been kind of consistently doing in your 20s and early 30s, like you start to peel away from that.
Yeah.
Because you do have those real life responsibilities,
Yeah.
right? So while you may feel like, this is a me problem or whatnot, I would definitely tell you, like, I can guarantee you a lot of our audiences are also trying to figure out and manage some of this
Yeah.
stuff. So that is part of this, right?
Yeah.
Like build that community, right? Let's
Yeah.
connect with those people and,
Yeah.
and build that those people that you spend more of your time with.
Yeah, build that circle up to be around the right people.
Yep.
That are also focused on this in terms of maybe going through it with you or already went through it with you.
Yes.
Or maybe they didn't know they needed to go through that. So, in terms of, okay, maybe I should have started it earlier. Maybe I should have started thinking about this stuff earlier. But I think it all comes in time, right? Like, sure, there may be some listeners out there who's like, yeah, what you're saying is pretty common sense, dude. But we all get to arrive at our destination at your own timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You take the long road for the journey, but it's still a journey. It's your own journey. So, sure. Do I wish every day that I could have started making those decisions, better planning earlier in some aspects? Of course. Am I happy that I'm doing it now? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is there still time to still make those changes, make those consistencies, and better myself, for my family, for my wife, for my kids, for my friends, colleagues, all that stuff? Yeah, 1,000%. So it's never too late.
It's never too late.
So that's kind of where that whole ADHD has kind of just spiraled into, or spider webbed into, different things to improve overall, I guess.
Okay.
And that's what 2025 is going to be. I think I said on the last one,
2020
Thrive.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I think that's great, and we would love to hear. I know you actually have gotten some messages from people talking about, like, hey, I can help guide you as far as like Adderall or ADHD and some of that stuff, which is awesome. Because
absolutely.
How would you been able to do that if people didn't watch the podcast or even you start the podcast?
Correct.
Right. So I think that's kudos and that's awesome. Let's transition a little bit. You had mentioned you started having a business coach.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm sure while it's called a business coach, it's probably more overarching as almost like a life coach in some way, shape, or form, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like how's that been going?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's
it's been really empowering in terms of having someone to lean on, in the sense of, like we spoke about, where being a business owner is great in the sense you make your own decisions. There's nobody above you, all that stuff. But also at the same time, that can be a weakness too. So that's been certainly helpful. We did our business planning for 2025. Excited about where we can go, how we can get better organized, how we can focus on better work ethic, time blocking, planning to be more effective and efficient. Because the goal is to also be with my family.
Yeah,
I don't,
of course.
I don't want to be, okay, I've got these goals for business, and that means that I'm going to be, non-present at home because I'm trying to hit these financial goals in the business. But like you said, it is a business coach, but also a life coach. Because actually my life coach has three kids as well. So, and he's in real estate as well. So he's kind of already gone through that, and that's why he's a coach, because he can then share that wealth of knowledge with his students. So yeah, really motivated to just kind of engage in all that, tighten things up, and be more present where I need to be in the business and where I need to be in the family. We talked about being disconnecting. Are we at the dinner table, and why is there a phone there? Do I need to answer these calls immediately? Actually, my mom brought up a good point. She said she had seen something which is actually pretty cool, kind of taking things back to when we had landlines, where the phone rang during dinner. You didn't go pick it up.
You didn't go pick it up.
So it's
right.
like leaving your phone connected to the charger in another room,
Yeah.
right? So it's not on you, because if it's on you,
Then you're
always just like, oh, let me scroll, right? So that was a good bit of kind of advice that my mom shared the other day with us. So that, and then
right.
just wanting to be, because Ziana plays on the phone a lot in terms of she mocks things.
Yes.
She sees me on the
Yeah,
phone
yeah.
a lot. And while, yes, phones, iPads, screens are uber present everywhere, there's no getting away from it. We want to get away from it in the household, at least in a better condition where she's not seeing it because, I'm this, I'm this, right?
Right. Yeah.
So does every text, call, email need to be responded to right away? No. If I lose a business, if I lose a lead because of that, so be it.
Yeah,
It means
people
more
should be
time with
understanding.
my family, more times with my wife, more times with the kids,
Yep.
more times in the moment with things that matter. So that's one of the goals this year, of just disconnecting a little bit and reconnecting.
Wow.
So that's super important to me, because it's weird, because like lately I felt like I when I'm looking on my phone, I'm like bending my neck a lot more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get that
And
little
what
bulge
kind
right
of
here.
scared me was like, man, am I going to be older and have these neck and posture issues?
Yep. Yeah.
Because of constantly looking down. And it's certainly got bad in moments where I'm just like, wait, was somebody talking to me? So it's weird. I'm like, I'm zoned more out because we're getting older. We're getting a little slower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
those
we are.
things, you want to enjoy the moments, because there's, they're going to wake up and be 10 years old. They're going to wake up and be 18 and going to college.
Well, and it's interesting you brought that up, because I was going to mention to you, right now you're in the very early phases, right, of raising two kids, and you've been fortunate enough. You've had back-to-back children that are under 2, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to both kind of be going through the same things as they get older. And now our son, he's almost 11.
Yeah.
And, I've heard this from people like Sahil Bloom and others and it's so true, where you only have those first 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
You're their favorite person up until that time frame. And we're seeing it right now with our own son. Now, the reason why he wants to be on his Xbox or his phone and whatnot, because he wants to be social. He wants to be connecting with his friends more than he wants to be hanging out with us.
Right.
When we go anywhere, he asks, are there going to be any kids there? And so I would encourage everyone that has kids under 10, spend this time now with them, go on the vacations, do whatever you're able to do now, because after that age, you are not their favorite person.
Yeah.
And sorry, I am kind of taking this from Sahil Bloom and other people.
Yeah.
But it is so true that after that, you remember when we got 10, 11, 12, we just wanted to hang out with our friends and stuff. We wanted to go to family functions or other community events where we knew other kids were going to be out, and we would be out in the parking lot playing football or doing other things.
Yeah.
And so take advantage of what you've got right now, because later on, and then once you start middle school, high school, college, that's it. They're gone.
Yep.
So, it's funny that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Not funny, but it's
it's
ironic, because I was just thinking about that as well.
Yeah, it's crazy how it just time flies. I mean, because Sahil's almost 2 months.
Yeah. I know, we just saw him the other day, and we were like, oh my God, he looks so big already.
Yeah.
Like chubby and cute and snuggly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all that.
And it's just like, wow, he was just so little and not even fitting into any of his, newborn clothes.
Oh, man.
And then all of a sudden, just one day, he was like, wow, these are all fitting now.
Well,
So
the light at the end of the tunnel for you all is that, like, you're still going to be young, just like your parents were. You're going to be young when you can hang out with them. And stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because Ziana and Sahil will see the relationship you have with, like, your dad and football and stuff like that, like, they're going to create that same bond with you all as well, right?
Yeah.
So there's silver lining. I mean, it's all silver lining, right? You're grateful that you have the children. But it's going to be awesome that you the way you've kind of planned this, I guess, that you'll be able to do all those fun things. And you're setting yourself up for success as well already by having a business coach, having therapists. And so that way, when you are 50 in 10, 12 years, like, dude, you're going to be living great.
Yeah,
right?
that's the hope and plan, because then it goes back to it's never too late. It's never too late to get into therapy. Focus on mental health. Focus on physical health. Focus on guiding your career to make it better, so that you have more time with the things that are important. So, blessed to have a super patient wife at home, and understanding kind of my own challenges and ups and hills, and her being there every part of the way. So yeah, luckily that I have that support to, have that support, so yeah, but
No,
yeah, excited to kind of see how things progress, and we're trying to reconnect our relationship as well.
Okay.
Her parents have been out of country. They've been in South Africa and exploring India.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they've been having a great time, doing the things that they need to do so they can enjoy themselves. So it's just kind of been man-on-man coverage.
Man covered. Movie shake, you go there. I'm gonna cut here.
Yeah. So which has been, just kind of a self-awareness type, and also kind of a pat on the back, in the sense of we are certainly lucky. I think we've talked about it in a couple other episodes, where we have some friends and other family that don't necessarily have the support of parents there.
You're right.
Right. They had to put their son or daughter in daycare, 6 weeks right after they went back to work and whatnot. So we are super, super lucky and thankful. So not to say that, we have it rough, but it's still a challenge. And, getting through the holidays and then the snowstorm of her not going to be able to go back to school, and adapting through that was just like, okay, we got this, it was just like, man, it's tough.
Yeah.
But kind of like a we got this moment. Yeah.
And there's no sugarcoating. The first 3-4 years are going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to just get through that.
Yeah.
Enjoy each moment.
Yeah.
Plan properly the way
Yeah.
it sounds like you are.
Yeah.
Plan, prep, organize your life better so that you are ready for this. Because obviously, as someone who's been diagnosed with ADHD, you kind of live in chaos, but you're prepped for it.
Right.
You are equipped to handle it. It's going to be a couple of years. It's going to fly by.
Yep.
Once they get out of the diapers and they can actually rationalize, then it just becomes easier. But then you start having other problems. We just were talking.
Yeah.
Like, we got to help our son with schoolwork and stay on top of him. And for anyone that knows, that has kids that have gone through math and stuff, the system has changed.
Yeah.
It ain't the same type of process for doing math and whatnot. And so we had to relearn. And yes, I used ChatGPT to cheat a little bit to understand it, because I was like, whoa, how do I deal with everything that I have going on and be able to manage helping him get an A?
Yeah.
So then there's going to be other challenges. Then you're going to have, like, man, when they become tweens and stuff, it's a whole other world, right? We're all prepping for that kind of puberty and all that. So it's all, we just got to take it in strides, right?
Yep.
Well, no, I think we would love to hear other people's, openness about how you manage things.
Yeah,
if
their
you've got some tips
experiences
and tricks and hacks, like, tell us. I know, obviously, on like social media, you can find a lot of ways to like divide and conquer, and tips and hacks, and how to prep better for breakfasts in the morning, or whatever that might be.
Right.
So we'd love to hear from people. Share some insights with us.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So let's transition. Right now it's January, right? Let's transition a little bit on the listing side.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening in the real estate world. Obviously, with the transition of our government and different, today I think it came out, inflation actually increased again.
Yep.
So now the Fed's got to deal with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Interest rates maybe fluctuating or whatnot.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit. It's wintertime. What's going on with the real estate world? What are you planning for? Guide some people that are looking for homes or selling.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the new change in administrations, whatnot, we're not really expecting that to affect the mortgage world.
Okay.
That will be better or worse in any case. There's hope, of course, that the new administrations make some changes to get us into normal levels, but we're not expecting any drastic improvements in the interest rate world.
Okay.
And people have kind of adapted to that in our local market, in the sense of, the rates went up end of 2022. 2023 was kind of okay, maybe they'll come back down, so we'll wait a little bit. 2024 was, okay, they're not really changing. Elections are happening, and 2025 is now elections are over. We're used to this. How do we navigate? Life is still occurring. Life is still happening. And the people that have been kind of waiting to maybe sell are now having to sell because, maybe they waited, maybe we'll wait till little Johnny's in preschool versus daycare or whatnot. So that's changing things. Also, people are getting married. People are those married couples. Yeah,
it's like engagement season, right?
Those married couples that waited till COVID to end so they could have their, dream wedding now are having a kid because we're now 2 years post-removed from post-pandemic, essentially. So those clienteles are now, selling their newlywed house, upgrading due to family. I have a few clients that way that are expecting either first or second and needing to, upgrade their homes to accommodate their needs now, whereas they accommodate just the two of them. So we're expecting just a lot more normalcy, consistent standard appreciation levels in that 3 to 5% rate, not in that 10 to 12, where they were. A lot of just normalcy that sellers now as well have kind of adapted to that also, that it's not, the pandemic times where they could just throw whatever house on the market and get 10 offers, 50,000 over asking, things like that. So we're having those guidance and educational offers and getting, having those conversations to help them understand that better in terms of average days on market, what that means, what the timeline looks like. Hey, we're only going to get a few showings. January's also we've had snowstorm and we've had polar vortex out the yin-yang, right? It's 15 degrees outside right now. So have a couple listings that went to market that were investors that flips. And it's just a little bit, more, a little bit slower, like January, February should be. And then you throw in, 10 inches of snow or 4 degrees of weather. People are going to kind of, wait and see, or people are just kind of starting to see what the market is, seeing a couple houses, getting a feel for what they like, what's important to them. So we're expecting just a lot of that, not anything, super crazy like pandemic, but also people realizing this is where we're at. Interest rates, I think right now are a little bit in the little above 7s.
7, right.
So anywhere from 6.5 to 7.1, 7.2 is a normal rate. Anything in the 6s is a fantastic rate. So just kind of having a lot of those conversations. 2025 is my 10th year in the business.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years. What you doing for 10 years?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's
give away a home or something? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish. But yeah, we'll do something big. Yeah, we'll celebrate.
Like a live podcast / Varma Realty Group 10-year celebration. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff.
Throw some things out there. But yeah, 10 years. I just realized that actually just now in this moment that, got my license end of 2015. Started getting into it 2016. Still kind of working at the gas stations and getting kind of acclimated to the...
That's right, because we started working together. Wow. Yeah. I was in 20... Wow.
Yeah, I've been with Coldwell Banker almost 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joined at the beginning of 2020.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Like no, it was end of 2019. Yeah, like November 2019, and then kind of COVID happened. So yeah, it's crazy because I have not held any job for this long.
Well, it's your own job.
Yeah,
there you go. It's
right.
your own
business. So a lot of reflecting and 10 years in the business. So I've had a lot of good established relationships in terms of understanding what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Obviously, constantly learning new things, adapting the business, like, upgrading the database, doing CRM, managing and focusing on that so certain things can work itself while I'm out in the field. Like today is a crazy packed day. Had a business meeting here before at 9:30 with the colleague. We talked about 2025. We talked about what our goals are, and just reconnected. And then obviously podcast shoot. Then I've got to get up to Westchester for a closing. Wow. Then I've got to get back down to West End for a building walkthrough, one of our own that we're trying to sell. and then a buyer inspection over in Pierce Township, and then home, and then I've got a buyer consult call at 6:15 for a family that's moving in from Kansas City. Wow. Hoping they change to the who they like. Yeah, I know. Get them out of that shithole. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
So it's crazy packed day, and I mean, excited. Yesterday was busy. Tomorrow's a little light, but I got to run around, check some properties, do lunch with another colleague to kind of re-engage with people. Uncle and Bullock coming in town this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So got to get ready for that. So we'll be busy with them, doing some things, going to catch up with them. They were traveling the world, essentially, in December and late November. Going to catch up with them. Bullock is going to meet Sahil for the first time.
Did Uncle already meet Sahil?
Uncle already did. Uncle came in Thanksgiving time.
Okay.
You guys were gone.
Right. We were gone. That's right.
You guys were gone.
Oh. No, it's all good. This is what it's all about.
But yeah, so 10 years in the business.
Wow.
And just going to continue to grow where I can grow in the sense of getting things to work on itself, and then also taking a step back in the sense where I can manage business, manage family, manage personal life, manage the relationship, husband and wife relationship. Like I said earlier, excited to kind of rekindle that because, her parents have been gone. They're our main source of help. My parents help out a lot as well. But they're our main source where they have a little bit more time to come and watch the kids. And so we can go have date night. So we've got date night booked for the end of the month.
Nice.
We're planning to do a trip just us two, and then hopefully a trip us four, maybe us three, then maybe us four before Bavisha goes back to work from maternity leave. So yeah, in the next few weeks, near months, we've got a lot planned to refocus and get back to normalcy in our life.
Okay.
We don't expect to have any other kids, so this is Sahil's the last, and now we can kind of focus on, okay, how do we grow as a family? How do we build our strength as a relationship? And how do we succeed in every aspect of our life? And we're going to fail. We're going to fail.
You're going to learn.
We're going to learn. But exactly, failure is a learning experience, and failure is only kind of the viewpoint of what you see it as. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think failure is, you didn't try hard enough? You didn't do enough? Or is failure a learning experience? Because a lot of people that failed, they tried their ass off.
Oh, yeah.
They put in everything they had,
Yep.
but it just didn't work out. So failure is a learning experience, and we're going to fail, we're going to succeed, and we're going to grow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fail, learn, succeed, grow. There you go.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
man, I think you already gave a lot of good takeaways and thought-provoking, habits and strategies that you're working on. But anything to leave all the watchers, listeners, our audience with before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think focus on time blocking and planning. Have a plan, whether it's a daily goal, whether it's a weekly goal, weekly plan. Have that with your, with your partner if you have one. Have that with yourself, and have a colleague to have that accountability with you. Whether you own your business and you want to share your calendar with a close partner, whether it be your spouse, whether it be a business partner, or whoever, to have that accountability. I think accountability is key. So you can do that in many different ways. In terms of you're an accountability partner for someone else, you have an accountability partner for yourself as well, and focus on the highlighting moments of your life and make sure you're present.
Beautiful.
So you don't have to put the phone down. You don't have to stop scrolling, but do that in a time that makes sense for you. Right now, I do it when I'm in the toilet, which I'm sure a lot of parents do.
Yes, that's your time.
Maybe TMI there, but just continue to focus on yourself and focus on your life, focus on your growth, and love yourself.
There you go. And don't forget, you said one other thing: disconnect and reconnect.
Yep.
All right. Well, Varun, thank you very much.
Yes,
Season
sir.
2,
Thanks for
episode
watching.
2.
We love you all.
Yep. Love you all. Thank you so much for listening to A Girl Dad's Journey. Listings and Lullabies, A Girl Dad's Journey. Varun Varma, Vikas Sandhi right here. Don't forget, check out our website for all of our episodes at girldadspodcast.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. That doesn't get banned. All right. And we are on Apple, Spotify, and all the major podcast streaming platforms. So please show us some support. We'd love to hear from you all and have a great month. Let's do it.
So thanks, Carl.